Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crochet and Coffee here, and today we're coming back with another Cricut mug press video. This video is going to show you how to sublimate Can Koozies using the Cricut mug press. Now, you're probably wondering what kind of cozies these are. These are called cozies with a bottom. Now, these bottoms are not detachable, so they are attached to the actual cozy itself, and unlike those flat ones that you can just use the regular mug press with, these are already cylinder. So of course they're going to be a little bit harder to sublimate if you don't have some kind of a mug press or a tumbler press. So I found that I can actually press these in my Cricut mug press, and I'm going to show you the process today. So I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Now, these I got from Heat Transfer Source, and I like these better because they have the non-slip grip, so they don't slide whenever you put them on the table. You can just squish your soda can in, and of course it fits an 8-ounce soda can, or if you have like a taller can that's about an 8-ounce size, you can put it in there. So I wanted to figure out how to sublimate on these because they're cylinder. You can't flatten them because of that bottom. So here is the process of how I'm going to sublimate these. First things first, I'm going to take my Cricut mug press and get it heated up and started. We're going to open up that little lever there, put it off to the side until it's ready to get heated up. Then you're going to need a design. So I already printed off 2 designs, and no, my designs don't come like this. They actually come on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I use the A-sub paper. And then I cut them down before the video starts just to save time, because you're here for the meat and potatoes. You don't want to see all this extra stuff. So we're actually going to sublimate the sunflower design. And I've already done this a couple of times. This is one of my first attempts here. And it just has one of my catchphrases on it. It does have this black seam on it, so I wanted to get as close as possible to that black seam. So it just has one of my catchphrases on it that I use at the end of my videos. And my little Animoji girl, I call her Lisa. And I wanted to see how well this would sublimate using the mug press, and it actually did a pretty good job. Now, is every job every time gonna be perfect? No. Here's another design that I tried, was one of my first attempts. It did not go on as smoothly as I wanted to. It didn't turn out too bad, but it still had some ghosting at the top, and then I realized what I was doing. I was watching another video by Just Might DIY on the 5 mistakes you're making with your mug press. And one of the things that they said was, one, the cardboard. A lot of people don't like using the cardboard, so they said about getting rubber trivets or silicone trivets. So I do have some of those coming, but for now we're gonna have to use cardboard. 2, the mug press, when it's heating up, not the entire thing on the inside gets hot as like that bottom part. I also didn't notice that the bottom plate will scratch up your tumbler. So you want to make sure that when you put something in there that it's floating, meaning it doesn't touch the bottom, or you use a piece of butcher paper to cover up that little cylinder at the bottom. Also be very careful, because I did turn that on, so I'm not going to put my fingers in there. Also, the bottom of it is not completely flat. So when you're doing a tumbler, you don't want it to go in there, but we'll talk about that in my next video for the mug press. But when it comes to these, because it has that plate in there, you don't want this silicone part to touch that bottom part, because you can and will melt that part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in there floating, but first we got to get the design on it. And again, we got to let that heat up. While we're waiting for the design, or while we're waiting for that to heat up, we're going to show you how I get the design on here. So first things first, I get an empty soda can. And then I just take and put it inside of the Can Koozie. Now, of course, you want to make sure it's empty, because anything you put inside of there, once it's heated up, can make it explode or something. We're not going there. So make sure the can is empty, okay? And you don't want to squish it too much, because the can is empty. Also, I took off some of the sparks so I don't hurt myself. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put our design onto the koozie. Now, my designs are cut out at a particular size, so it's going to be, for the width, it's going to be 9.469, and then the height is going to be 3.748. After some trial and error, I found that that size works best for me, so I'm going to go ahead and line this up here, and I'm just lining it up with that seam, and then I'm just going to make sure it goes all the way around the way I want it, because you see how it goes up to the top there. We're going to get you down a little bit more so you can see what I'm doing. So you see how it's touching that seam all the way up there. I don't want that. I don't want that. So we're going to bring that down just a hair so that it's right in the middle, because I want it right in the middle of those seams. And then we're going to bring it back around this way. And just like a tumbler, you want to make sure that design is touching all the way around. You just want to be very careful not to squish that can. And then we're going to tape the design to the cozy. And that's telling us that the Cricut mug press is ready to be, is already heated up. So we're going to tape it just like this all the way around. And I'm doing this because essentially once you put that piece of tape down, you can stretch it so that it is nice and tight on there. So I smooth that down and then I make sure it's nice and tight, and then I just kind of pull it to make sure it's nice and tight. And you don't, unlike with the convection oven, you don't have to worry about the tape coming off because it's being pressed by the mug press. So we're just going to do it just like that. Okay. Then what we're going to do with our mug press, again, we're going to zoom you out. We're going to make sure that this is floating, okay? Now, I'm not going to put anything on the bottom of the cozy. You can put this on the bottom of it just in case you want to sit it all the way down in there. But I'm going to have this floating. So what I mean by floating is, and I'm going to bring you just like this. You're going to see a little bit of my tripod a little bit. What I mean by floating is when I stick this in, it's not going to touch that bottom part. So you see how it's not touching the bottom? It's going to float. But it's going to float enough where it's not touching the very rim of the mug press, because this part up here doesn't get as hot as down at the bottom does. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my cardboard in. That can go down all the way. But if you want to stick your can in first, and you're going to have to turn it. So you want to make sure you have some heat resistant gloves. So it's not touching all the way. We're going to put this down. Now, the way I measure this is I put it down and put it like evenly with the cardboard where the cardboard stops. And then I close it. Now, you want to keep in mind where that black seam is, because then when you turn it, you're going to want to make sure you turn it where that black seam is now touching the heated part of the mug press. So we're going to give that about a minute to sit in there. We're not going to worry about the timer on here. We're going to give it about a minute to sit in there, and then we're going to turn it. All right, and now that it's been in there for about a minute, we're going to grab hold of the can. Make sure you have on heat resistant gloves because the can obviously is going to get hot. So I'm going to grab the rim of the can. I'm going to open it, and then I'm just going to twist it, and then I'm going to close it back down again. And somebody was asking about the smoke coming up from the heat press. I do believe it's coming from the cardboard. It's not really like, it's not going to set it on fire or anything that I've noticed. I have been using the cardboard for about a week or so now, and it hasn't set itself on fire, but it does get hot. So it will sometimes cause smoke to come up. And again, we're going to wait another minute or so, and we're going to check it, and then we're going to turn it to whatever side didn't get enough heat on it, and we'll be right back. All right, so it's been a few minutes, so we're going to take it out, take a look at it, see where you can see the design. And it looks pretty good, but right here, it doesn't look like the design has sublimated yet, so we're going to make sure that that part of the design is touching. We're going to give it another minute, and then we'll be back and we'll be all ready to reveal to see how the design sublimated onto the Can Koozie. All right, so we're going to give it a few more minutes just to make sure we get that design on there really good. I'm going to put on my other heat glove, and we're going to see how this design turned out. Using this mug press for more than mugs has been like very, very helpful in the fact that it does cost a lot. The mug press is about I think it's like $200, and a lot of people were very skeptical of getting it, thinking that it could only do mugs. Now, I'm pretty sure Cricut said that they may in a later time figure out something. We're gonna take this out of here. Figure out something about doing tumblers. I really wish they would have done it with the first machine instead of making us buy 2 machines, or maybe give us something that we can put right there to be able to make tumblers. But we'll have to wait and see. Oh, I'm hitting you. So we're going to move the mug press out of the way since we're done using it for right now. And we're going to focus on our design, okay? So we're going to bring you back down here. All right, so our design you can see it through the paper, which is what, when you're doing sublimation, that is key to knowing that your design has sublimated onto your product. You want to be able to see that design very faintly, or really, like, you want to be able to see that design in general through the paper. It should come through the paper. If it does not come through the paper, if you see a spot that isn't coming through the paper, that means that that part wasn't sublimated very well. So you're going to want to try again. But you want to be careful because you can burn these. So you have to get the timing just right. So I did about a minute and did about 4 turns on this just to make sure that design went on there good. So I'm going to get my tweezers out here. And we're just going to peel the tape off. Now do keep in mind, again, you want to have those heat gloves because this does get really hot. And with that can in there, it's especially going to get hot. So you're going to use your tweezers to get the tape off. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? And this is what you want to see when you take that paper off. You want to see all that color being gone and essentially it looking very faded, because then that tells you that that color went into whatever item that you're using. So as you can see, and to get that can out of there, what I do is I stick my tweezers into the hole of the can, and then I grab the bottom and push the can up just to get it out of there. Put the can off to the side because the can will be hot, so give that a few minutes to cool down. And there you have it. Look at how beautiful and perfect that is. This Cricut mug press, where it is a hefty price tag, to me, it's been worth it. It's been worth it. Look at the beautiful colors on that. Like, look how well that's sublimated onto there. So that is how I sublimate these Can Koozies with the silicone bottom. So again, just make sure that this silicone part does not touch the bottom because you don't want that to get messed up or melt. Again, I will have some silicone trivets. I do have silicone trivets coming because I know a lot of people were like, you know, you can get the silicone trivets. And so, yeah, so that is how I sublimate these Can Koozies with the bottom. Like I said, I've done a couple of them already and they've turned out really, really well. I do love how evenly it sublimates on there, and using the mug press just kind of takes the guessing work out of everything for me. So I really, really like it. And as you can see, I've done a couple of designs. I've been like obsessed with using this Cricut mug press. So there you have it. There is how you make Can Koozies with the bottom. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns about the Cricut mug press and these designs, please leave those down in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. But with that said, I have to get out of here. But it's hard in these crafty streets, so please remember to wear your mask, wash your hands, don't touch your face, keep your 6 feet, and always try to be kind, be courteous, be cool. Bye, guys.